Hi. You guys hear me? I don't know. I forgot to disconnect my earbuds before I came on live, so I don't know if anybody can hear me. So you guys can hear me? Put up a thumbs up emoji icon if you guys can hear me. Okay, I can. Okay, you can. Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure because when I went live, I still had my earbud in, and that messed up things with live last time. Okay, good. Yeah. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I'm gonna need a drink. No coffee, but I do have caffeine. Yeah, that's better. Still, again, no plans for the live. Nothing more than just having a live, talking to people. Yep, we've got Mountain Dew here. That's what my stepdad drinks mainly. Mountain Dew and Red Bull thrown together. Not at the same time, I don't think. That sounds disgusting. Thanksgiving was good. It is great. We do have our actual big Thanksgiving is tomorrow afternoon. We just did a small thing at one house yesterday. What did I eat for Thanksgiving? A lot of turkey, a lot of ham, um, had some Hawaiian bread. Yes, I saw what Chuck did this morning. I just watched the replay. I was not awake for the actual live. I actually just finished watching the replay probably about 15 minutes ago. How am I feeling about Jolly? I think he's a very pretty bull and has got a good even temperament because he hasn't been bellowing, he hasn't been huffing and puffing or kicking up dust or yelling over at Tex. And as far as I know, we haven't exactly could could be happening, and Lester hasn't seen it or hasn't shown it. I don't know, but it doesn't look like he's been pacing the fence, wanting to get over and fight with Tex. Tex, I don't think has been wanting to get over and fight with him. So I think Jolly's a pretty even-tempered bull. Now he did lock horns with Pearl, but Pearl started it, and he just stuck up for himself, which is good. He's not a pushover bull. Him and Gracie were cute this morning. Their baby's gonna be great. Like her horns mixed with his horns, just that's gonna be a really pretty calf. So someone asked earlier if I'm an only child. No, I'm not. Main reason I'm being quiet is my brother's still asleep. Because he was up way too late last night doing absolutely nothing. Yep, Pearl did start that. I think he was trying to test him out, see what he was made of, see if he was worthy. I might walk around outside or take the live outside, but it's cold. I haven't checked the temperature yet this morning. Yeah, Jolly is pretty big. Him and Tex are about the same size overall in their body size, at least from what I can see and what I can judge. But yeah, Jolly's horns are a good bit longer than what Tex's are. I think Tex is a more dominant natured bull than what Jolly appears to be. Of course, that could change. Yeah, I think Jolly did pass his test and earned the right to flirt with them. Charlene and Gracie have already been flirty with him, and Lester already said he got to, or it appears he got to Danny, which I'm not surprised. She was up flirting up front with the bulls the night before they were moved over, I think it was. That night she got out the front and Lester had to put her back out back. So she might have already been in heat when Jolly arrived. Jolly's bigger than Waylon. Tex is bigger than Waylon, and Jolly and Tex are about the same size. Do you mean like if Jolly produces smaller calves? I would assume so. I've seen one of Jolly's calves. Didn't get a good reference of the size. It was just a one frame picture. Couldn't get an estimate of the size of the calf, but it was a fine looking calf proportion wise and good looking color. Morning, Katie. Oh, we're gonna have a train go by now. Oh, great. Yeah, Waylon did have bigger calves. He produced a bigger calving weight than what Tex does on average. Yeah, we're gonna have a train go by, so the sound is probably not gonna be very fun for a little bit. Oh, it's an Amtrak. It's not that loud. Okay, that's good. No, we didn't get snow yet. I think we're supposed to get snow this weekend. Yeah, it was a Amtrak, so it's not that loud. Yeah, that's what I heard. I hate the winter. I hate the winter. Figured I'd go live or make a video today. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like the winter. I was pretty comfortable in Phoenix and Tucson, Arizona, out there. Yeah, that was fun. Texas was great weather. Um, there was a point where we went out to Seattle and there was a drought out there, and it was pretty nice weather. Although the really dry out there, so they needed the rain, but the weather itself was nice. Mom's dog is laying on the floor behind me. He likes to lay in the window. Excuse me. Daily routines. Um, Staying at my mom's right now, so I don't know. I don't know how the boys are doing at their new home. I don't know. I don't. I heard a lot of people say that, or at least a couple people, when Lester mentioned that the guy who brought Jolly down from his old home, that Jolly's going to be spoiled, and I saw a lot of people saying that that would mean that Waylon and the boys would have a hard life, and I was like, just because Jolly would be more spoiled here does not mean that they would suffer there. Because Jolly looks in completely fine health. I've seen a lot worse. I don't think they'll be you know, as fat and happy and really comfortable like they have at Lester's, but they're not gonna suffer by any means. I don't think, judging by how Jolly looks. I don't know. I can't answer that to be certain because I don't know where they went. Yeah. Lester mentioned that there were less brush and stuff, so that could mean that there's more grassland rather than the big woods that you get around Livingston, that part of Texas. So it could just be more open plains rather than woodland. Because he was talking about the pasture maintenance element of selling longhorns, I believe he was on when he said that. So that could just mean there's less wild brush and things like that, and just more flat grassland out toward the place where Jolly came from. We definitely need warmth. I don't know exactly what the temperature is outside right now, but I know it's cold. It was like, I think it was 28 yesterday, 28 degrees. Yes, I saw the live this morning. I saw the replay. I wasn't awake when the live was actually live. Yeah, I said it, in the post I made about Pearl being a fighter. I think I made that yesterday. Um, I said Jolly's going to have his horns full instead of his hands full. Kind of a play on words there. I don't think anyone picked up on that, or no one mentioned it. Which kind of makes sense, literally, because he was locked horns with Pearl. Thank you. I thought that was pretty clever. I'm tired this morning. My brother kept me up last night. Morning, Pipple lover. I also love Pipples. We don't have any, but it's not for any particular reason other than that we just don't have one. My mom used to have one. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea. A protective cage or something over the water line might not be a bad idea. Yes, I saw Jillian go after Carl. She's a very good mama. Because I don't think she's been in with ostriches before. No, she hasn't. She was born at the jail, and the ostriches have never been in the back pasture. They've only been at the jail a few months now. I can't remember when exactly Lester brought them over, but I know she's never been in the pasture with them. I forget what TGIF means. Yep. Morning. Not very many people are here this morning. Currently sitting at, says 57 on my end. Was a little over 60, but people left, I guess. I didn't doubt Jenny Lane. Yeah, not done to 53. Why are people leaving? Am I that boring? Oh, no Black Friday shop today. Okay. I don't know. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I don't have a bunch of cows to feed or horses to feed, but I'm just sitting here talking. Yeah, we've got a. Oh, why'd the screen go dark? I don't know why my camera's going dark. There we go. I don't know. I don't think I'll do Black Friday shopping. If I do, it'll be online. I'm not going into a store and dealing with that mess. I went to sleep at probably about 10. My brother woke me up at 12:40, and then I didn't go to sleep until 4. So yeah. And I have to work tonight, so that's not going to be fun. Lego stuff. What for? I work nights loading packages at FedEx. That's what I do. I load semi-trailers full of boxes. The next couple days are not going to be fun. Good pay though. I work part-time right now. I think just under 20 hours this week. Yeah, I load packages, anything from anything from small things. I've loaded bags of straw shavings before. Everything up to large full-size trampolines, couches, refrigerators, tires, anything from bike tires to tractor tires. Yeah. One of the most annoying things to ship is um, pet food boxes. Because the box's weight isn't consistent, it's all heavy in the middle. I don't really have a morning routine much. I mean, every day's different, and I don't really want to show the inside of my grandparents' house or my mom's house because I don't need people judging how messy a house might be. I don't need people trying to say anything about them for that. That's just disrespectful to them. My mom and stepdad just went to the store to run some errands. You mean Norma Jean? Annabelle? Annabelle is Jake's cow. Yeah, yeah. Marilyn was the issue with that. Norma Jean figured out how to go through the fence, which could still get her in trouble. Because if she comes back to the jail and then still tries to go through fences, whether it be to get to mom or something else, she will have to leave. Because she's a pretty cow, but a pretty cow doesn't matter much if she gets out on the freeway or gets out into the woods or lets all the other or teaches all the other cows how to get out, and then suddenly you have all the cows out, all the cows lost in the woods or trying to get to a bull or get to wherever they're trying to get to, and it's just a whole situation. Yeah, the point is she knows how to go through fences now, which means she could do it again for other reasons, even if she isn't doing it to get to mom. Yeah. I hope she is, Rebecca. I hope, but I always have to overthink everything and think about all the possible outcomes and not have think what it's called romance goggles and just look at everything as if they're all going to be perfect because there's a possibility it won't be. I hope she'll be fine, and I hope she will be. But it's just something to consider and prepare for if if in fact that does happen. No, I didn't think she was going to try to go through the fences at Longhorn Lester's. Kind of the imagery of her trying to hitchhike back to the jail is kind of funny. I think that'll break Marilyn more than it will Norma Jean. I think getting bred and getting ready for another calf might also help that move along, help Marilyn transition towards her next calf rather than focusing on Norma Jean, if that makes sense. Nice. Not a lot going on here this morning. I have to feed Saffron later today or tomorrow at some point. Once I get back over to my grandparents. No, I don't have farm animals, unfortunately. I'd love to live on a farm and do all those different things, but wasn't born into it. Maybe one day, but I don't have the um, financial capability or the physical experience to be able to do that as of right now. Uh, yeah, Lister sent me a picture of one of Jolly's babies because we were talking about the homozygous black genes and all that. Now, I'm gonna explain that here on this live, if you don't mind. So basically, what that means is, so cows or everything can usually have two genetic modifiers, say for black genes. I'll put it in simple terms. Um, say a cow has one black gene and one red gene. I believe the black gene is more dominant than the red coloration, meaning that a cow with two different genes, which is heterozygous, hetero means different, homo means same, um, a cow is more likely to pass on the black. Now, if they have two red, they're always going to pass on the red. So, say a cow with two black genes and a cow with two red genes have a calf. That calf is most likely is going to have a red gene from one parent and a black gene from the other. So it'll be two, and that means it could pass on either of those to its children. But when a cow has two black genes, which means it probably had a black parent, two black parents with two genes, it had. This is easier to see visually, but I don't really have anything to show other than my hands. But if it passes a cow with two black genes, which is called homozygous black or true black, as it's also referred to as, it can only pass on black to its calf, and black is a dominant trait, so it means all of their babies would be black in color or black and white in some way, shape, or form, because the the white on a longhorn, because I saw a lot of people. I saw one comment on a live, I think it was, that Jezebel had a white gene and a black gene. That's not how that works. Jezebel is a black cow with a white pattern. Yeah, genetically, she is black, but the pattern is the white, if that makes sense. Yeah, homozygous is what that's pronounced as. Yeah, and Jolly is not homozygous because the calf I saw was brown and white. The calf kind of reminded me of kind of like a combination color wise between what Danny looks like and what Santoro looked like. So the face was similar to patterning on Santoro, but the color only had brown on the head and on the feet. And I think Brindle is a whole other genetic thing. Genetics can get very complicated very quickly, so it's easier to just put them into separate, simpler explanations. I'm not quite sure how Brindle works with Longhorns. I believe it is a. I don't remember exactly how the genetics work with Brindle in Longhorns. I'll need to read up on that. I hope what I said about homozygous black makes sense. Yeah. Right now, I only work nights part time. I'm not enrolled in school at the moment. Okay, thank you, Jenny. That makes sense. I've heard of the K locust before. Yeah, that makes sense, and it sounds familiar to me. That way how it works. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Thank you. Did you know that, or did you Google that? No judgment. I'm just curious if you knew that, or if you looked it up for me. Let's see. Okay, nice, interesting. Popeye's a brindle cow? Does he? I don't know. I haven't checked up on Popeye's channel for a minute. Main ones I follow are Ima and Longhorn Masters. Huh. Okay, interesting. I'll have to look. I love the brindle color on Longhorns and on other things as well, dogs, for example. I just like the striped brindle color, especially red brindle color. The tricolor brindle look of drag iron isn't my favorite. It's pretty, but it's not my favorite color. If you saw the post on my channel of X Star, that would be what I'm referring to when I say red brindle, and his daughter Dixie Red. Not a lot of people here today. Keeps going up from like 53 to 62, which is fine. I don't really care all that much. It's still kind of early on in the day. People have things to do. Steers tend to be bigger and with longhorns have longer horns than both bulls and cows because steers, say for Holstein's example, cows use their cows mainly use their energy and stuff like that to produce milk, and then bulls to produce semen and to chase after cows and to do all that. But steers, when they're castrated, they don't produce testosterone. They don't produce sperm cells, so they don't, and they also, of course, don't produce milk because they're not female. But the energy and the resources that they would use to produce those things that bulls do, they produce in their size and other things as well. Like with longhorns, they'll produce longer horns and usually thinner horns as well, but that depends on the genetics too. Because the longest horns in longhorns, the world record for longest horns in longhorns is a steer. Yeah, bulls don't live as long as cows do, just because of the strain that their lives entail. That's not a bad thing. They still live fine lives, but it's just the strain over the years of what their life is that is cause for a slower lifespan than what cows do, I believe. Longest horns on Lester's Ranch right now would be Jolly, I believe, in total length. But before Jolly arrived, I'm not entirely sure. Probably either Jolene. It's probably Jolene or Marilyn, maybe? Yeah, Jolene is probably. Yeah. Just for comparison, I know I'm thin, but her horns were probably about as thick as my arm, maybe a little thicker. Yeah, they look thin. All of them look thinner on camera. Reba's horns are definitely long horns, but I think Jolene's and Marilyn's maybe a bit longer. Well, Jolene's are longer for sure, but Marilyn's I think are a bit longer than what um, Reba's are. I know I posted a picture of Bruce. So, you want to see him? He's laying over here in the sun. Brucey! Brucey! What? Why? Why are you looking sad? Why are you sitting over here soaking in the sun, buddy? Jolene is younger than what Reba is. I guarantee it. Because Jolene is 3.5, 4 years old, and then Reba is older than that. Hi. Hi, Bubba. Lucy, come here. Come on. Come on. Ugh, hi. He's gonna sit on top of me now. Hi. Hi, Brucey. Hi. This is probably not the best camera angle for people, but I don't think you really care all that much. Or at all. Did I stop petting you? Hi, Bubba. He's very cute. Hi. Yes, hello. I see you. Bruce, you're not giving me very good camera angle quality, dude. But he does not really care. He's a lab German short-haired pointer mix, for those curious. Okay, your elbow's going into my gut, dude. No, thank you. It's not fun. There's dog hair on my phone. He's not always calm. He can turn into a hyperactive maniac when he wants to. As you can plainly see, they get rid of the other twit that he had. Oh, here's a better example. Wanna play? Or are you just gonna sulk? Those are at my grandparents' house. I have an Australian Shepherd and a Carolina dog over there. Well, if you don't know what a Carolina dog is, it's basically an American dingo breed. We didn't know what it was either until we got him. Want to see my mom's bearded dragon? There he is. I don't have food for you right now. You're gonna get fed later. Not that you really need much food. Uh-huh. That's my mom's beardy. He's very cute. He's got a big old fat head. Always has. It's what we noticed about him when we got him. He's always just had a big old fat head. What? She has not taken him on any car rides that I know of, but she has taken him out to run around in the yard before. Need an allergy pill. I don't know where they are. I'll wait till Mom gets back. The girls are flirting with Jolly too. Both Gracie and Charlene. I'd be curious how the young bulls, Scotty and Duke, are acting around Jolly, if they're acting any different. Because this is their first time with a bull in the pasture. They've never been in the pasture with a mature bull before. Up until now, the oldest bull in the pasture, the back pasture, has been Duca Dalscone. So I'm curious how they're reacting to having a mature bull in the pasture, if that affects them at all. Yeah, people coming and going, sitting pretty at about 50. Yeah, beauties are definitely something. My mom's had them before in the past. It had been a while though. My mom's definitely an animal person. If Loretta is pregnant, she will probably calf in the next couple weeks, week and a half maybe, because she was in the same pasture up front with Waylon that at the same time that Jenny Lane was. But I don't know. It's hard to tell if she's pregnant or not as of right now. Yeah, just hanging out. I'd like if Bruce would play on camera, but he's not in the mood this morning. I guess maybe too much food yesterday because he did get food off the table, of course. Not from me. I don't feed dogs from my plate. I just don't share food in general. Oh yeah, well before Christmas. Yeah, Loretta's next. Loretta will be a first-time mom because her dad or her mom is Dolly. Because Loretta, I've seen a couple people confused if Loretta was Texas daughter, was Dolly bred when she got here. So that is the situation with Loretta. Loretta came along with Patsy with their moms. Dolly is Loretta's mom, Reba is Patsy's mom, and their dad was Longhorn Rancher Jake's old bull before he traded for Santoro and moved his bull along. That bull was named Hank, I believe. He was basically had the same pattern of Loretta, but was black and white instead of brown and white. And then the calf that Dolly was bred with and Reba, um, Dolly had Faith last year, and then Fancy was Reba's calf last year. Remind you of Kenny Chesney? Really? Okay, I guess. Thank you. I don't have my hat here at this house. It's at the other house, so couldn't put my hat on even if I wanted to. Morning. I'd love to move down south, Oklahoma, Texas, something like that. because I don't like living up here. It's way too cold in the winter. My allergies are bugging me this morning. I'm allergic to pretty much everything outside. When I did an allergy test in middle school, basically what that is, I don't know if anyone's had it done before, probably, but they stick a bunch of things to your back to see what you're allergic to. They stopped mine halfway through because my back was so red. I was allergic to pretty much everything on that test, except for molds and dog hair, thankfully. Cats, both kinds of dust mites, trees, grasses, weeds, whatever you want to think of. I'm probably allergic to it outside. No, I'm never ready for snow. Hate snow. Hate the cold, hate snow, hate freezing rain. Don't like it. Don't like winter at all. Uh-huh. What other interests do I have? Like besides animals? I enjoy working with my hands. I enjoy doing other things. I've worked on the car with my stepdad before. I've put together a few things. Do you have to walk so loudly across the floor? I don't know. Yeah, I forgot to take my Zyrtec last night before I went to bed because I usually take it before I usually take it at night, either before work or before I go to bed, depending on if I work or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not really into much. Sorry, my knee hit the table. Um, I don't know. My life isn't very interesting, in my opinion. I don't do very much. Certainly, as not in the winter, other than just go to work and spend my days in the house and doing whatever I need to. There's not much to do outside. That isn't frigid cold. All right. Yeah, the sun is bright. Hi, Bruce. Oh, okay. Uh, uh, I don't really know what I do much for videos because my editing skills are not very good as of right now. I'd like to try to figure out editing before I make more content. So it might just be a lot of lives like this. So if you're not willing to wait, don't watch. It doesn't really matter to me. Ugh. I don't want to be in northern Indiana then. Bye, share. I don't. I guess that's how you say your name. Goodbye. Have a good day. Yeah. Yeah. I I'd like to make a video talking about um, Texas lineage because I've talked about it before a few different times. About I'd like to go in depth about that if I can, because I kind of have something for that. What kind of music do I listen to? Most kinds. I listen to country, pop, rock. The only things I really don't listen to are rap and hip hop, or rap and K-pop. Hip hop a little bit, not much though. I don't really define it by genre, depending. It just depends on the individual song. The Bulls won this year. Well, Waylon's Bulls both look both look nice. Um, I think he only had two this year. I think I'm forgetting one. Because Duke and Scotty. I know Dumfries, but he's um, not a part of the herd anymore. Um, why do I feel like I'm blanking? That is Waylon's Bulls this year, correct? He had four or Brucey. There we go. I knew I was forgetting somebody. I wasn't accounting for him. I think he needs to grow up a little bit more before I give judgment on him. But Duke and Scotty Duke, or body type, reminds me a lot of Lord Grayson. Very stocky. He's probably going to have about the same look as Lord Grayson did, which makes sense because they're full siblings. Yeah, that was Duke of Dumfries that passed. The that I wasn't accounting for. But Scotty looks just like Waylon, just minus the white on the head, like identical. Which I think is kind of funny that Jolene had one that looked just like her, and now she had one that looked just like Waylon. There's no in between. Yeah, Waylon tends to pass on the more beefy production to his bulls. His heifers do look lean and more what's referred to as feminine in their demeanor. Like most people define bulls and heifers by their masculine or their feminine features because bulls are supposed to be a bit more muscled and more stocky, whereas females tend to be more lean and long and yeah, in their structure. Now there are exceptions. I don't think um, Gracie is the most feminine. What are you barking at? There is nobody outside. Nobody. All right, but Waylon produces great bulls and heifers, which I think is very nice because you can see a distinction. Like I think a good bull, like a lot of bulls will throw either great looking heifers or great looking bulls, but not a lot of bulls will produce great looking of both. Yeah. A lot of people keep longhorns lean. They don't like overfeed longhorns mainly, like a lot of feedlots will do with Angus and Hereford because longhorns largely are not being processed in large quantities for commercial meat. The what longhorns that are processed for meat are usually for more smaller consumers, like direct farm to table, um, more healthy business, small businesses, things like that. But they're not like sold off by big business because they don't produce the same quality of meat that Angus do that's for that industry. Longhorns are mainly processed for small consumers for meat, as well as their hides and their horns and those other um, decoration. As well as leather as well. Ruby's fine where she is. She's bigger than Danny is, and she was not. She is a first-time mama, which I don't think Waylon's like big calving affinity caused her to miscarriage because it was just too early on in the development of the baby to be caused by that. Because if it were, the baby would have been further along in development. I think Ruby is fine right where she is. I also do think Danny is okay right where she is, but I think Ruby definitely is fine. Yeah, there's not a lot of beef cattle in this area in general. There's a couple different farms, but it's mainly uh, um, corn and soy. Like, there's a field right over there. And across the street that way, and more down that way. If you look up Illinois on a map, it is a checkered board of corn and soy fields. Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple beef cattle ranches. Like I know my uncle's family, they have some cattle, or at least they used to, that we've gone and seen a few times. Thank you, Senior Bypasser, I think is how your name is said. Yeah, Indiana's pretty similar from what I know. I haven't been to Indiana very much. Yeah, Ruby is a lot of people's favorite. I'm not the biggest fan of bottle babies. Not that there's anything wrong with what Lester did with Bottle Baby, them. I just don't. I'm not a big fan of bottle babies in general. I think. Um, I think raising a calf on a bottle is the last resort when it comes to raising. That's probably gonna get a lot of people mad at me, but it's just my opinion. And I think Lester would agree that it is the last case scenario. That it is not the first thing to think of when you get a baby calf. There's some people that pull a lot of their babies off the mama. Now, it is different in the dairy industry. Like the dairy industry with calving is very different than what the calving situation is with beef cattle because a lot of beef cows, yeah, what basically it is the if you do have a bottle baby, you need to wean it like all the others if you want it to act like all the others. So you can't treat a bottle baby like it's a baby for the rest of its life. That's why Chuck is as dangerous as he is, because he was raised to be a pet rather than a bull. And that's no hate toward Jeff or Jay or anyone at his old home. Sorry, I don't remember. I can't remember. I have a hard time remembering their names. But the Steinmetz farm or What If Acres, that's no hate toward them. But it is just the facts of the situation is that Chuck was raised as a pet, not a bull, and has no respect for people. He still thinks he's a 2,000-pound calf. Yeah, Justin. But yeah. Yeah. In my opinion, I think bottle babies, if they do need to be raised, they need to be weaned off of people, just the same as they would be weaned off of mom. And then be treated like all the other calves once they're out in the pasture with all the others to avoid those hazards of having an animal that thinks it's still a baby but can just run you over without, they can cause serious injury without even trying, like just playing. They could throw out a kick, they could hook a horn, they could do a whole bunch of things that wouldn't affect a cow all that much, but that does a lot more to us. Me saying that probably lost me a lot of people because now we're hitting about 41. But I don't sugarcoat. I'm can come across as a bit of a blunt person, but that's just how I am. My allergies are driving me nuts. Hi, Heidi. Yeah, I do think Caroline is getting the best of both worlds now, especially now that she has Jezebel. I think Lester made a very good judgment on leaving her out with the other cows because he had Danny and Ruby in the house. And I don't want to come off as insulting. I don't want to demean or make it sound like I am hating on Lester for making those decisions. I'm not. There, he did the best thing he could, but I do think that the best thing in an ideal situation for an animal is to be raised by other animals of its own kind rather than by people, because there's no better animal teacher for an animal than its own mother and other animals of its own kind, if that makes sense. Like a dog can't teach a human child how to be a human. Only people can teach human children how to be people. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably lost me a good amount of people. But I don't sugarcoat. Yeah, I agree, Brenda. Apologies for my sniffling. Jeez. I'm gonna blow my nose real quick. I didn't really want to do this on camera, but I can't really avoid it. Okay. Jeez, my nose went red with that. Okay. I don't know why my allergies are bothering me so much today. Yep. I agree, Heidi, and I'm not hating on anyone else for having any opinions. Yeah. What time is it? 11:10. Okay. Check. Okay. Yeah. I hope nothing I say comes across as me trying to be disrespectful. I'm not. I always try to be respectful even if I disagree. Like, there are certain things that me and Lester do probably disagree on, but I'm not gonna try to say that he's bad or awful or do anything else just because him and I have a different opinion on something. Same with anybody in the comments. If they have a different opinion, that's fine. Yeah, there are allergy shots. I've researched them a bit, but I'm not a big fan of shots. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, I'm not outside though, so if I were outside, I'd probably be sniffling a lot more because whenever just this is just something that happens to me, but whenever I breathe in cold air through my nose, it just makes my nose run and I sneeze. I hate it. Ugh. Hate this time of year. Hate winter. I want to be sitting leaned up against a tree or something in Texas or Arizona right now. That's where I'd like to be. I think Danny should be okay birthing, especially since, from what I've seen, Jolly doesn't produce the same large calves as Waylon. But I can't be a judge of that specifically, but I trust Lester's judgment that he picked a bull who's proven in the right way for his cows. And I also think that now that Danny um, went through that and her body did recover from it, I think she should have an easier time. Same with Charlene, although Charlene should be even more fine than Danny, if that makes sense. She has much more of a chance of being fine than what Danny does, both because she's older than Danny and because she passed a calf without the same traumatic level, if that makes sense. Yeah, I hate winter. I'm not looking forward to this weekend because I'll be inside a non-heated warehouse at night. Closest thing we have to heating in there is lights that get hot. That's about it. What do you mean? And capes? I don't know how to say that name. Oh yeah, Jersey Bulls are notorious for being aggressive. I think Jersey Bulls are mainly kept intact for semen collection. They are not kept on farms. They are notorious for having really bad tempers. Oh, something I wanted to touch on that I touched a little bit on earlier but didn't finish my thought process was the difference between the mothering aspect in beef cattle versus dairy cows. A lot of, well, most, if not all, of dairy calves are taken off the moms, and that has been happening over generations, hundreds of years. Um, and the moms do not mother the calves. Like they don't have the same mothering stuff that is bred into them that beef cattle do, because beef cows will raise their babies, and cow farm ranchers will actually breed for cows that will raise their babies. A cow can be phenomenal, and if it rejects a baby or does anything to a baby and won't raise a baby, ranchers won't keep that cow because it's not good for profit if they have to raise the calf. Just it takes more out of them than it would if they had a cow who raised babies and defended babies and all that. Because a good cow who keeps her baby alive in, say, Wyoming, where they do have wolves up there, they have big cats, bears. If a cow just leaves her calf, you could lose the calf on those wide open ranches where a rancher um, isn't doesn't have eyes on the cow every single day, like what Lester does, because they aren't able to. They've got acres and acres and acres of sometimes wilderness land that the cows roam freely on, and predators come onto that land. And one day you could have a pregnant cow, then you have a calf, then a week later that calf just disappears. I hope everything I say making sense. Danny is smaller for her age. Yeah. I don't know Chuck's original situation very much, so I'm not going to comment on that because I don't know much about it and I don't want to give misinformation. Danny is small for her age and is smaller than Ruby. I don't know the exact cause of that. I have theories, but I don't know the exact cause. Uh, the only worry I have with Chuck being up front and the gate being permanently closed, or at least permanently while Jeff is there, that if Loretta is still up there and she has her calf and needs help, that's the only big worry for me. And Lester said it on his live last night, I think it was. I touched up on Danny's horns and why I think they're down so much in my last live, but the main thing I think is that it's just a combination of her genetics because her dad is Tex, who bred one of his daughters, Gracie, um, and the downward direction of Tex's horns mixed with the downward direction of Gracie's horns cause just a combined um, Danny's horns go further down than both of them, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't think Danny's horn direction is caused by inbreeding. I think the only thing that may be caused by inbreeding with Danny is her smaller, more frail frame, more lean frame, but that could also just be how she is, or a result of several other different factors. But that's the only thing I think could be affected. We probably will never know, and it doesn't matter, but that's just my theory. Okay. Samsung, a lot of people have said this, and it is technically there is some merit to it, but the bull that people have been referring to is a bull named Dixie Emperor in Danish genetics, and he is long since dead, and he's probably about maybe 5 or 6 generations back from Danny. So I don't think his horn direction is hardly any cause for Danny's horn direction because it's just so far back in the genetics, it's not really much of a factor. Um, because he is several generations back in Texas lineage. Um, Danny's grandpa on Gracie's side is Tex, who's also her dad because of the inbreeding issue, but Tex's um, father is a bull named Confucius. Now, I never found a fully grown picture of Confucius. I don't know if there's one that exists. I don't know what that was, but what I did find, Confucius looks a lot like Tex, body type wise, and so does Confucius's dad, Black Cattle. So I think that the yeah, those are her grandparents, great grandfather and great grandfather, and of course her grandpa on her Tex's mom's side, great grandfather, I should say, had horns that went all the way up, like they were very big U-shaped horns. His name was Bonanza. 4W Rose, Tex's mom. That's her dad.
and then, yeah. So the downward direction of Danny's horns is probably not caused by the bull Dixie Emperor, um, because he was way back in genetics. It's kind of like, yeah, it's not much of a factor just because it was so long ago in her genetic makeup that I don't think it plays much of a factor here. And there have been more bulls with more upward turn horns in her genetics since Dixie Emperor. What is with the trains today? This one's going to be louder. Thank you, Sue Price. It was a good Thanksgiving. We didn't do much yesterday, but our main Thanksgiving get together is tomorrow afternoon. I don't think they'll continue to go downward. I think they'll slowly, as they already have, but they're going to slowly curl upward. I don't think they'll ever be as raised up as what Gracie and Tex's horns are, but they have um, turned upwards now, and they will just slowly curl up as she gets older. What do you mean, Jane? I don't understand what you're saying. Horn direction is different than, say, eye color or yeah, do I have an email address? I'm not going to give it here. I might, I don't know. I might make a video later today talking about Texas lineage. Horns can be cut, but only up to a certain point if you don't want to um, cause the horn to bleed. That's why if a cow breaks off the tip of their horns, like you'll see them break off a tip of the horns, they won't usually bleed up to a certain point. Then, of course, if they do break their horn, it will bleed if they get it to a certain point because there are blood vessels underneath the horn. It's not like an antler, which is just solid bone that sheds. It has blood vessels running through it. Yeah, there's Quick Stop. My mother knows all about that. My mom's a dog groomer, for those wondering. The horn, it can, but it doesn't really grow in the same way nails do. Um, the horns can go back to initial shape, but usually they'll just be shorter. Like they can, I've seen cows break off a tip of the horn, rub off a tip of the horn, but then it can, they can sharpen the point back to almost the same point. The horn will just look like you took the tip and just moved it back a bit. I saw a bull do that in picture form because I saw pictures over the years, and he rubbed off or broke off the tip, and was able to get the horn back to get the tip back to a point. So a couple people surprised at how expensive Jolly was. He wasn't that expensive. Like Jolly being listed for 8,000 is not that bad. The bull I was just referring to that broke off the tip of his horn and then pulled a point out of it, that was a $25,000 bull. A bull for sale for $25,000. And that's not the highest price I've seen. Hi, Typo Queen. Yeah, it's not the highest price I've ever seen. Yeah. And I think some farms and ranches will put. Now, I don't think that's what these people were doing, but some people will put up a cow or horse or whatever for a huge price, so that basically the cow's not for sale, but if someone were to offer that much, they would certainly take the money, but so the cow would technically be for sale, but not in a serious way, if that makes sense. I don't know what Tex would go for. Not that it matters. Lester will never sell him. Waylon wasn't sold, he was traded. It was a 3-for-1 deal. Same with Santoro, although it was a 4-for-1 deal. I don't know the exact value Waylon would go for. I guess 4 to 5,000. That's what he was listed for on Facebook. Both Prince Willie Joe and Lord Grayson were listed for 2,500, and then Waylon was for 5,000. So collectively, they were probably about the same as what Jolly was listed for. Yes, price for everything has gone up, but the cattle industry has definitely raised their prices in recent years. Kind of an even exchange, yeah, if you do the math out. If you do the math of what they were selling Prince Willie Joe and Lord Grayson and Waylon for to what Jolly was listed for, yeah, it evens out pretty much. Okay. Yeah. Longhorns individually sell at high price, but commercially they don't really sell in large quantities. Like people don't bring like 20 longhorns, 30 longhorns to an auction and make 30 make a big profit in meat industry like what Angus. Like you can breed 30 Angus to an auction or to a slaughterhouse and get your money back in meat that you can with longhorns. If that makes sense. They aren't as commercially sold for the meat industry like what Angus are, and Herefords and Brahman and other more commercial beef cattle. Longhorns are mainly pasture ornaments and pasture maintenance, as well as processed for small consumer meat production and for decoration, hides, wall mounts, different things. What, Bruce? What? Why do you look miserable? You're fine. Come here. Come here. No? Okay. Yeah, Prince and Lord Grayson are not proven. They have not produced calves, which doesn't really have a huge impact, but it does affect a bull's price and a cow's price. Because if say they were to buy a bull for thousands of dollars and that bull doesn't produce for them, then they just wasted thousands of dollars. So it is just more of an assurance than anything else, if that makes sense. Like Santoro was also proven because he had Sully. Now that wasn't a proven registered cow, but it was proven that he could produce even though he had only one apple. If that, yeah, as Lester called it, he only had one apple that had dropped, but he still produced a calf, which was more of an assurance to the new owner than it was to an assurance that he produces high quality cows. It was just that he can have babies and can produce cows for the new owner to make profit off of, rather than wasting a lot of money or sending away cows that he could have used for someone that for a bull that he could not use. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else y'all want me to talk about, or is it just Longhorns and Longhorn Lesters and all that? I'm happy talking about it, but I'd also like to talk about other things if you guys wanted to. We've gone for almost an hour and a half, so I might want to get off here. I'm comfortable with whatever you guys want. I don't have horses, but I share your sentiment. Thank you, Typo Queen. I don't know exactly if I'll watch Jeff or not. If the animals are in it, I'll probably watch it. I don't know. I don't, as of right now, follow What If Acres and Chuck's old home. Ow. I'd love to live on a ranch and breed cattle. Don't have the financial means or the physical experience to do that as of right now. Thank you. Mm, I hope so too. Bye, Dren. Hey, Karma. Goats I do find interesting. I follow a couple goat channels on YouTube. Yeah. Any of those goat farms you follow, Type of Queen, be Blue Cactus Dairy Goats or Wiedemann Reap? Saw Wiedemann Reap pop up in my chat the other day. I didn't see it during the actual live, but I saw it when I watched it back. Brucey, come here. Come here. Come here. Hey, bud. Hey. Come here. Lay down. There you go. There aren't very many ranches around here. Like, hardly at all. What? And there aren't very many ranches around here, hardly at all. Like there are in parts of Indiana, Oklahoma, Texas, things like that. There's hardly any in this area. It's mainly corn and soy in this part of the country. I do know of a small farm around here that has 2 longhorns on a small farm property. I don't know the people, we just drive by, but have seen them. I think they're longhorn steers, just a couple of them. I got a hair in my eye. It's all your fault, Bruce. Not much. Just kind of sitting here. Bruce, what are you doing? Yeah. I don't know. Well, I probably should get off here. It's kind of getting dull now. Not much happening. Yeah, longhorns are very lean cattle normally. Most of Lester's cows are at least somewhat overweight. I don't think um, Jenny Lane is overweight. Danny's not overweight. Santina, I don't think, is very much overweight. Reba is a little bit overweight. Marilyn, I don't think, is overweight. Maybe a little bit, but not much. Yeah, I think they're all of adequate condition on average. Most are. Dolly's overweight. Loretta's overweight. I don't think Trinity's overweight. None of the calves are overweight. But that's hard for calves to be overweight. They're usually fine if their mom is fine. I think Gracie is overweight, but not as much as, say, Dolly or Loretta. Jezebel's not overweight. But yeah, no, I don't have a girlfriend at the moment. Yeah. Currently, I'm single. Yeah. don't know what kind of content I'll be creating as this goes on. If it goes on, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I don't really have much exciting stuff in my life other than what goes on up in my head. That's about what got me noticed, was the information I could put out, but I don't really know of a way to put that information on here without having the knowledge and editing to be able to do it in a way that people would find entertaining. Because right now it would just be me basically doing this to a camera. No edits, no nothing. Hardly any edits anyway. And it's hard to talk about something without visual representation, like putting a picture up of something that you're talking about, or a diagram or whatever. Yeah. 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 There's not a lot of people. There's not as many people on this live as there were the other one. About half as much right now, which is fine. I don't care, but I just want to make sure I'm uh, appealing to people. Or at least appealing to enough people to be able to get noticed, get monetized, different things like that. Because you have to get your watch hours up to a certain point before you get monetized, before you start getting paid for doing this, which I don't think is anywhere near right now. People are out shopping today. I'm not. I'm not going to deal with that. My mom and stepdad currently are out shopping. I don't think it's strictly for Black Friday sales, but it's part of it. Which Longhorn at which Longhorn at Leicester shows the most underrated genetic trait, and why do you think it deserves more attention? I don't understand what you mean by underrated trait. I'm not a big shopping fan either. I go buy what I want and what I need, and I get out. It's a decent looking day out today, but cold. Um, I don't really know. Uh, an underrated trait. I haven't really thought about that. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I'm sorry. What was another question that I wanted to answer? Um, Longhorns, I don't think are my favorite animal. I love to research them, and I think they're fascinating to be around and be knowledgeable of. But in animals in general of all the world, I don't know. I tend to put my favorites into categories rather than just having one singular favorite, because it's hard to pick favorites. Yeah, I'd also rather shop online for what I want. which a lot of people do, which makes my job worse. My actual job. Cyber Monday is not fun for my job. My job is not security, but my job is loading semi-trailers at FedEx. So imagine the increase in the amount of boxes. Monday or um, either Monday night and Tuesday night, which are our biggest nights anyway, um, we will probably be shipping, I'm gonna guess, probably 100K a night, a little over. Just found out a few days ago that FedEx has a Walmart contract now that we are getting strictly 20,000 just Walmart alone. I think Tuesday night we moved about 90K, 85 maybe. Yeah, of all different sorts. It's not just FedEx boxes. We move everything from dog food, pallets of stuff. We've got buckets, we've got different, some small hazardous material, we've got tires, bicycle tires, all the way up to tractor tires, semi tires, all the way up to those big tires. Um, Couches, refrigerators, even someone buying a pool at this time of year, full size trampolines, a lot of deer stands this time of year. Heidi, I don't like you right now. I hate Chewy boxes. I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to insult you. I just don't like moving Chewy boxes at work. Chewy boxes are not consistently heavy. They're only heavy in the middle because they're full of dog food or cat food or whatever bags. Also, PetSmart and Petco are just pains to deal with. Because there's a lot of difference between a 50-pound package that weighs consistently and a 50-pound package that weighs 50 pounds mostly in the middle with rounded corners on the box that are hard to grab. It's a pain. Then there's, of course, the repetition of it, getting a full trailer of Chewy or half a trailer of Chewy and having to load 100 so packages of just Chewy. Yeah, exactly. Imagine lifting 40 pounds over and over and over and over again for 5 hours. And for the record, I am 110 pounds. Moving full size couches, trampolines, pools, couches, tires. My manager was shocked when I told him how much I weigh, because I move packages like I weigh 120, 130, is what I've been told. Five seven is how tall I am. Trying to read Jenny's question so I can answer it appropriately. not a lot of Leicester's cows have exotic colors. And by exotic, I mean like atypical or rare colors, like the more diluted colors of the brindle or things like that. A lot of them are mainly solid colors. Now the dilution is a dilution of the Gruyere is a dilution of black pigmentation, so it shows up as a shade of gray, whether that be dark gray, light gray, whatever. And then the same dilution gene also affects red, where it becomes a more gold yellow color. Same as in, like, if you take pit bulls or mastiffs, a black dog with the dilution gene will show up like a bluish gray. That's why a blue pit bull exists, or a blue Cane Corso or whatever. Yeah, I'm 5'7". Study all animals? Not entirely. There are some things I'm not as interested in. Marine life and insects are something I'm not as interested in as I am terrestrial animals. Also, not as into amphibians, mainly mammals, reptiles, birds, herpetology, mammalogy, ornithology. Ornithology is the study of birds, for those who don't know. One of my favorite bird species would be the secretary bird. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a African bird that is named because its head, the back of its head, kind of looked like it had pins in it, like a secretary. I guess that was kind of the logic behind it. I don't know, but their whole gimmick is basically people call them a living velociraptor. They can fly, but they're mainly ground dwelling birds. And what they do is they use incredible eyesight and their very long, thin legs to hunt lizards and particularly snakes. And what they'll do is they'll see a snake and they'll get a lock on it with their eyes, and then they'll, with pinpoint precision, kick the snake in the head with a power that is more than the bird's body weight, I believe. It's just a fast bullet kick that just knocks out or kills the snake outright. Yeah. They're known to hunt puff adders, black mamba, venomous snakes like that. Yeah, even venomous snakes. Another one is the shoebill, another one of my favorite birds. It's also an African bird. And this bird is mainly eats fish. He uses his big bill to snap up mainly catfish, I believe. And then, but what it's really cool about it, and what a lot of people find interesting, is one of its calls is basically it tapping its beak together, and it sounds like an AK-47 gun. It does. In like a enclosed echoey space, it sounds like people are firing gunshots. It just taps its bill together really quick. You can look at videos on YouTube to find it. It's not that hard to find. Yeah, Brenda. Really? I see you. My grandma's now here on the live now. If I can pull chat back up. Yep. Hi, Mama. I see you. Oh, bye, Christina. Hi, Mama. Yeah, I know I'm live, YouTube. What was that? I just got a big notification thing that you're live now. I was like, I've been live. One night, did the live cut out at any point? My mom's not on the live. My name for my grandma is Memo, Mamaw, because I couldn't say grandma as a kid, so I just said Memo, and it stuck. Yeah. What was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about now. Talking about different bird species. I don't know why this these lives always descend into talking about birds. It was about crows and ravens last time. Now it's secretary birds and shoebills. I don't know. Is there any other animal facts or animals you want to know more about? I'm an encyclopedia of them, so I probably know about it. Why is chat hidden? Live chat is what I clicked, not that. Sit up. Yeah. Yes, we have robins where we live. No Batmans, though. I'm kidding. Yeah, we do have robins around here. And a lot of other types of birds. Yes, Memo. You're the one who came on here and decided to talk. Sitting here for almost 2 hours. Oh my gosh. Bye, Carol. Yeah, I'll probably get off here in a minute. I need to do other things. I don't know. Alright. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get off here and do other things now. Yeah. Alright, well, it's been interesting and fun, but, yeah. I'll probably make a video either later today or tomorrow. I don't know. I might not. I don't know. It'll just depend on what I'm doing and how I'm feeling. But, yeah. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.